Okay, welcome to the call, the Thursday night call that we are doing with Shannon McCumber, who is Emerald, and I am a Diamond. My name is Jana Garcia, and we are starting the call, and we are talking about Super Saturday 2017. And I will just say that Shannon did not get to go to Super Saturday because of the weather. And there were a lot of people that didn't get to go because of the weather. And it was really sad. I was really sad that day because there were so many people that just didn't get to go. And I know they were super disappointed. So we want to make sure that we go over this information so that you guys can have it. And so there were 20,000 people registered to go to Super Saturday. And a lot of them went, but a lot of them couldn't go. So we just wanted to go over this. But the reason why Shannon's on the call is because she knows all this stuff anyway. This is just really the basics of ranking up. And that's what we were taught to teach at Super Saturday. I was in Canada, and we were taught to teach how to rank up. And so all the information is really beneficial. It's really great information that they put out there. I'm really excited about all the content and when it's going to roll out with the rank up roadmap that the Diamonds did, and they had some great videos that hopefully will be out. And I know they recorded one of the Super Saturdays for the people that didn't get to go. So I don't know when that's going to be out, but I'm hoping it's going to be really soon.
I heard Friday. Tomorrow.
Oh, yay, that's awesome.
Tomorrow.
So at least you guys will be able to watch the videos and do things like that if you didn't get to go. So let's just jump right on in. The whole preface of Super Saturday was about going silver every month. And so that's regardless of whether you're a silver already or whether you've just started or whether you're gold, senior gold, whatever. Going silver every month is so important. We've always trained that on our teams, and that is really important. And this is what they tell you how to do that each month. So the training platform that they used included building your vision, creating a network plan, increasing Plexus knowledge, and sharing Plexus. So Shannon is going to tell us about vision and why. And that's so important because Shannon has such an amazing why, and she knows so much about why it's important to have a why. So here you go, Shannon.
All right. So the first one is we're talking about building your vision. And the first thing you would do when you're building your vision is knowing your why. And I think one of the greatest things that I ever heard somebody say, and that was from Diamond Ambassador Amy Kozmowski, and she told me, she was talking about whys, and she said, if your why doesn't evoke an emotion in you, then your why is not big enough. And that really sat me back in my seat because I thought I had a why, but then I really had to reevaluate and say, okay, really, what is my why? What's going to drive me in this business? And so I had to sit back and think about it, and think about what my why really was. And so then I had to paint a picture of why I was doing this business. And your why does develop over time. So what your why is today probably won't be your why 2 years from now, but that just means that you're growing as a leader, you're growing as a person, you're growing in your business. And so your why is going to change as you keep going in the business. That's part one, identify your why. The second one is identify your goals. If you're going to get anywhere in this business, you have to identify your goals. You want to have short-term goals, and you want to have long-term goals. And the thing when it comes to goals, set goals that are achievable and that you can celebrate success, because every time you achieve a goal, you need to celebrate that success. Even if it's a small goal, it still needs to be celebrated. And that helps with mindset too, telling yourself, I can do this because I hit that goal. Long-term goals, you should be setting those 6 months, a year. Where do I want to be? Short-term goals are this week, 2 weeks, a month, what am I going to do? And then every month, at the first of the month, you reevaluate what your short-term goals are for that month. One of your short-term goals should be to go silver every single month. That should be on your short-term goal list, January, February through December. The third one is build your belief. You have to build your belief in yourself, your company, this business, and we're going to get into that a little bit deeper here in just a little while, talking about belief. And the fourth one is create your vision. Really sit down and think about what you want to do in this business. Where do you want to go? What are you expecting to get out of this? Maybe you're just expecting to get better health out of this. Maybe you're expecting to provide for your family and cover your mortgage payment every month, or cover your mortgage payment and your car payment every month, or maybe it's to pay for your kids to go to college. Whatever that is, you are required to create that vision. Write it down. Make a vision board if you have to sit it right where you see it every single day to remind you what your vision is and why you're doing this every single day. Now we're going to move on to goals, and Jana is going to take over that part.
Okay, so goals, what we talked about at our Super Saturday is identifying your goals is the main thing. And that is what Shannon already said, is setting those goals long-term and short-term, and using this SMART goals. We can post some of these in the Rockin' Group, but SMART goals, specific. And me and Wendy Larson, who did the diamond in Canada, she's the diamond that helped me in Canada. And we added strategic to this, to the S. We did specific and strategic, because everything that Shannon just said is a strategy. And that's super important for people to understand, that all of this has to be strategy. Okay, the M is for measurable, the A is for action oriented, the R is for realistic, and the T is for time specific. So making your goals and making them specific is so important. So the next thing we're going to talk about is building your belief. And the first thing you have to build belief in is the industry. And I'm super excited about industry belief, because I feel like, I accidentally stumbled into this industry, and I have found in the last 3.5 years that it's the best thing ever. Like, it's the best career you could ever be in, just industry wide, even if you just didn't look at just Plexus. Now, I feel like Plexus has the best comp plan and Plexus has the best products, but the industry itself is it's freedom. And creating belief in that is done by just reading stories from other people that have been successful, or watching videos on YouTube with Eric Worre and different things like that. If you study that, you will have huge belief in the industry. Shannon's going to talk about having belief in Plexus.
I think for me, the biggest thing that sealed the deal for me for belief in Plexus, because when you start something like this, it's new. So it's natural to be a skeptic. It's natural. So if you're starting this and you're just starting out, and maybe you're feeling like, well, I'm a little skeptical about it. I don't know. I've never been a part of this type of thing. That's okay. That's a natural feeling. You just have to work on building your belief in Plexus and in our products, and also in yourself, that you can do this and you have greatness in you to do this. For me, what cemented my belief more than anything was when I went to convention 2014. It was my first convention, and Jana will tell you, I didn't want to run a business. I had been probably in Plexus almost a year at that point, and I really didn't have any drive. I mean, like, I did it. I tried, had a little team. I was going, but I didn't have that drive and that belief that I really believed that I could do it. But when I went to convention and I was there and I was surrounded by 8,500 people. I mean, you sit in a room with 8,000 people who are on their feet, clapping and cheering about Plexus. You don't have a choice but to be excited about it, because it's palpable in that room when you go to convention. You can't help but get excited about it. And just the things and so my belief was created in that moment at convention. So I'm just going to do a plug for convention right now. So you do whatever you got to do to get to convention this year in Las Vegas. I don't care if you've got to get 6 people in a room with you, and 2 people got to sleep on the floor, and you got to take turns sleeping in the bed. Whatever you got to do, go to convention. You need to do it. Plan it. Find your friends and say, look, let's do it. Y'all get in a car, drive out there. Take a couple days, 3 days if you have to. I don't know where you live. But drive out there. Make it happen, whatever you got to do. That should just be more incentive for you to work your business even harder to make the money to go. Get there, whatever you got to do. And building belief in yourself, you need to do self-development every day. Because if you've not done that your whole life, like if you've never put, you can look on my desk. I've got 2 books, probably 3, sitting on my desk talking about, this one is Resolve, 13 resolutions for life. How do you apply these resolutions to your life? It talks about leadership and, there's 13 of them. I'm just now getting into the 2nd chapter, but you have to put back into you so hey, if I'm going to start a business, I'm going to be part of this, I got to be good at it. And if you're going to be good at something, and that's something we talked about on the call last week, about mastering and becoming a master of what you do and creating that autonomy in the business. So if you weren't on that call, go back and listen to that call. That's a great call for belief in yourself, to build that up. So now we're going to talk about vision.
Well, I just want to say something real quick. If you ask any jewel in Plexus, they will say that they have grown in themselves so much
Oh yeah.
since they started. And that will tell you right there how important that self-development really is.
Very.
We know ourselves better. We know how to deal with other people better. And that only comes through that kind of thing, what you're saying, whether you're listening to audios or you're reading books or you're watching or you're on calls like this call will build your belief. Being on calls will build your belief. And so I will say too, that when you went to convention that year, before convention, you had total belief in the products.
Oh, I've totally been the products. Yeah. Products for sure.
You were consistent with your products, but you were working on you. If people are familiar with your story, you were working on you that year. You changed 180 degrees in that
year.
Yeah. And so you couldn't help but share those products with people.
Right.
And that's why you at all. But you just didn't have belief in yourself or in the industry part of it.
Right, in the industry. Oh, yeah.
Part of it, because you didn't know. But the thing about it is, belief comes from knowledge. And so filling your mind with knowledge, that's how you gain your belief. And you have to do it every single day, even if it's just for a few minutes every single day. That's what builds belief.
If you do it part-time, you get part-time pay.
That's right. It's true.
Just part of it.
That's your choice. That's your business.
That's right.
So we are going to talk about your vision next, and I'm just going to be really brief with this because most people know what a vision board is. Vision boards is just creating, whether it's online or on paper, you're creating a board of your dreams. And those dreams could include charity. It could include paying off your credit cards, your child's college debt, whatever that is. Create a vision board with pictures that maybe trips or cars or whatever it is for you, and have that where you can see it all the time, whether it's in your office or in your bedroom, wherever you can see that every time. I know that with me and Shannon, when we were ranking up, we had, I know I did, and I know she had it at least on her phone. We had a picture of our next rank, and I put it on my bathroom mirror. I had a big sign. See, she still has it on there. A big sign on my bathroom mirror. Every single rank I went to, I created with a Sharpie and a marker that color. I had Ruby up there, and I saw that sign every single day. And you will be shocked at what that does to your psyche when you are walking in that bathroom. I don't care if you're just going in there to whatever, you see that picture and it just subconsciously reminds you, I need to work for that today.
Yeah.
And that really does work. Put it on your phone, put it on your bathroom mirror, anywhere you can, to see that that's your goal, and that will help you every single day work on that goal. So that's all I'm really going to say about the vision board. It's just super important to have one. Shannon is going to talk next about your Frank's list, which is a huge lesson we learned at Super Saturday.
Now, if you've been in this business for any amount of time, you most certainly have heard of Frank's. It's important for you to know that. It's friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, kids connections, and service organizations. I have to look at my list because I didn't want to say them out of order. Like, I don't want to say them out of order. Now, a lot of people, when they first join, they're like, well, I don't know anybody. Oh, yes, you do. You just got to sit down and you got to write a list. Start with the F, friends. Write down all your friends that you think could benefit from Plexus. Then you go to relatives. Then you go to your acquaintances, just people that you might know at church, people you might, wherever, people you went to college with, your neighbors, people up and down your street. Do you know your neighbors? Make it a point to get out and meet your neighbors and connect with them and get outside and do things with their kids. Kids connections. Are your kids involved in sports? You should be friends with every single person on your kids' sports teams. Their parents, making friends with them, setting up play dates. Service organizations, anything you do to serve in the community. With charities, you're going to meet other people. And I'm just going to tell you this, if you write that down, if you go through all of that and you have 20 people, you need to get out of your house. Get out of your house and start meeting people. Get on Facebook and start friending people. If you've been in this business for more than a year or 2 years and your list hasn't changed and you haven't added, now this is going to be some tough love for some of you people that have been in Plexus for more than a couple of years. If you have this list made out and you're like, well, I just don't have anybody to add my list, that's your fault. That's your problem. Because you're not getting outside of your house and getting outside of Facebook to meet new people. You have to. This is something you have to get after. So when you tell me I don't have any new friends or my warm market's all dried up. That's on you. You got to get out of the house and meet new people. Just like my kids, they started Taekwondo this year and one started cheer this year. And you know what I did? I got in there and I started making friends. And Jana will tell you that's so outside my personality to do that, because and everybody thinks, oh, she's so funny. She likes to have fun. And I do. But a lot of times I just like to be left alone. Jana will tell you that. I just want to be left alone. I don't want to talk to people. But so talking to other people there, that was me stepping outside of my comfort zone. I've already signed ambassadors from those people that I met, not because I preached Plexus, but because I friended them on Facebook and they saw me posting about it, or I talked to them about it when they were hacking up a lung next to me. And I'm like, hey, you take probiotics? No. Well, you should. So you have to work on that day in and day out. Your Franks list should be growing daily, weekly, monthly. You should be adding to that Franks list. And if you're not, then you're not doing enough to get out there. And don't give me I don't have time. You have time to do things that you want to do. So make time. If you really want to be successful at this business and you want to get to Emerald and you want to earn that car and you want to earn that trip to Hawaii, then you make time. Otherwise, don't give me your excuses. You can go put that on the shelf outside in the garage because it's not doing anybody any good. So that's my Franks List speech. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Tough love is good.
So it's true. And once you get out and about and start meeting people, you're going to need the next thing, which is the elevator speech. Now, I don't really like to call it an elevator speech. And this is what me and Wendy talked about, is that to me, I think it's more of an introduction, because an elevator speech sounds very salesy. And I don't think that's what they mean by this. I think they just mean to know how to introduce yourself in situations where it's going to be appropriate to say what you do. So most situations where you're meeting somebody, you ask them what they do, they're going to ask you what you do. And the best thing to do is come up with this little thing right here that says, I am a Plexus ambassador who works with other moms who want to make extra income and who want to get healthier in order to have more time freedom. Whatever that is for you, but be sure include that, but make it so short. And then right after that, say, tell me more about what you do. Because let me tell you, people want to talk about themselves. They're going to think you're a lot more interesting and fun and easy to be around if you are interested in them. This is not the time to start talking about all the Plexus products, unless, like Shannon said, if there's an issue, like the person says, I've got a headache, and then you want to ask them about the products, that's different. But if you're just meeting somebody in a very short situation, elevator speech, meaning the short enough to talk to somebody in an elevator, your biggest goal is to connect with them in order to have that connection for later. Because you want to get them as a Facebook friend. You want to get their contact information. You want to connect with them enough to where they think you're interesting enough to want to be friends with. Okay, so making sure you get their info so that you will see that person again. That's the most important thing. That's, I think, one of the hardest things for us to remember, because we're with somebody and we feel all this pressure. Oh my gosh, we need to tell them about the products. We need to tell them about no, your most important thing is to get the connection with that person so that then you can friend them on Facebook. Then they'll see your stuff and then you build that relationship. That's the most important thing. People don't want to buy from salesy people. They want to buy from their friends. So you should be a friend collector. You need to go out and collect as many friends as you possibly can. Be a great friend of those people, and then they're going to want to do what you do. That's all I'm going to say about the elevator speech.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that. Next, Shannon is going to go over the social media plan.
All right. Now, I wasn't at Super Saturday, so I don't know what their social media plan was, so I'm just going to give you my social media plan.
It's exactly like ours.
Social media is huge nowadays. I mean, you can't go anywhere without social media. I mean, you go to a grocery store, you go to a restaurant, people are like this, looking at their phones. They've got that blue disease because they've got that blue light shining on their face because it's social media. They're either texting, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're tweeting, whatever they're doing, they're on social media. When you get with Plexus and you join Plexus, you want to start building that Franks list. So you want to start friending people on Facebook. talking on Facebook, posting on Facebook about you joining Plexus. You know, you want to have a coming out speech and letting people know, hey, I'm doing this. And if you coming out and you're saying, I'm doing it and I believe in it, and I'm going to do it regardless of what anybody else says because I believe in it, you're going to take off like wildfire. But you have to be able to show that belief. You can't be like, well, I guess I'm going to try this stuff. Well, then people may not order from you because you don't really sound that confident about it. So if you're going to post about it, post confidently about it. You know, there's Instagram. You can also get involved with Instagram. You can save yourself a lot of time if you go and post on Instagram, because Instagram will post to Facebook for you. So it instantaneously, when you post on Instagram, it'll post to Facebook the exact same thing. You know, and I have a lot of different friends on Instagram than I do on Facebook, because Instagram, I draw in more people who have the same likes I do, like cycling. We are road bike. We cycle on the road. So for people that don't know. And then just starting this paleo diet that I started, I'm getting a lot of friends who are paleo friendly, who have been doing paleo. So I'm starting to build up friends that way. So, and I'm not selling Plexus. I'm just friending them based on a certain like that we have, and that we have that connection with each other, because you never know what's going to turn into, you know, and you may be on Instagram and you get somebody who sends you a request, and maybe it's a mommy blogger who has 10,000 followers, and you may think, well, I would never get somebody like that on my team. Rhonda Shaw did. She's a Diamond Ambassador, and she then had Bridget Ryan, who was a mommy blogger, start taking products, and then she took off the Diamond because she had such a huge following from her blogging. But you got to be confident enough to put yourself out there and to post and be confident in it. If you're not sure what to post, then ask your upline, ask your sidelines, go to these ambassador groups that we have, all of us have them, and ask questions. That's what those groups are there for you to ask questions. So that's my social media. Janet, you want to add something to what they talk about?
It's very simple. Post regularly about Plexus.
Consistent.
But don't only post about Plexus.
Right.
Life. People want to see you. They don't know they want Plexus yet, but you want them to follow your posts. So post pictures of your kids, interesting stuff, bring value to your Facebook so that people will follow you, and then they'll see your Plexus stuff. Okay, so posting regularly, consistently. Don't post salesy. Only post personal stuff. Don't just post graphics all the time. Nobody wants to see that. They're going to scroll right on by it. What they want to see is what Plexus has done for you. That is all you need to know. And there are many, many videos on social media. One of Tara Castaneda, and I don't know how to spell her name, but if somebody wants to type it in the chat, she has really good social media videos on YouTube if you want to go check out some of those.
It's Castaneda.
Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is Plexus knowledge. Okay. Well, Shannon really basically already did this one, and it's really just getting in there and along with your self-growth, watching calls like this, getting on YouTube and finding jewels and people that have made calls on Plexus about the products, about the company, the opportunity. Your success guide is huge for that. You guys should definitely read that and study that success kit that you get when you sign up. And that is huge. I wanted to go back to what on the Frank's list really quick and tell you that the two diamonds that I talked to this weekend both told me at two separate times that every time they have somebody that comes to them that's struggling in their business, they cannot produce a Frank's list. They said most people, they get told this over and over again, but when somebody asks them for their Frank's list, they don't actually have one. And if you, it's not organized at all. It's not in any one place, and it's not where they can see it, and it's not something it's not an active list. It needs to be added to all the time. And so if you do that one thing and just follow up and reach out to people, that is huge right there, because most people don't do that. You would be one out of very few that actually do a Frank's list. So for sure, your success kit, the Success on Demand in the back office is very valuable information. All the things that Shannon talked about, self-growth, you can find in your back office for free in the Success on Demand. So the success kit, the next thing is the comp plan. We will not go over the comp plan because we have videos on that. The company has videos on that. That's all in the Rockin' Video group. You can find those. And you really need to learn the comp plan. The comp plan is for some people, they think it's overwhelming. And I will say that you don't have to understand the comp plan in order to make money. You're still going to get a check. So if you're overwhelmed by that, don't worry about it. The most important thing is for you to just move forward. But I will say that the more you do understand the comp plan, the more motivated you will be, because our comp plan is beyond comprehension. I mean, it is just amazing. And the more you learn about the different ways we get paid, the more motivated you're going to be to do those things. So I would watch the videos and try to understand it, but don't spend a lot of time doing it. Don't spend a lot of time doing anything except for sharing the opportunity and the products with people. That's where you spend the majority of your time. Getting new relationships, collecting friends, and then sharing that with your people. The compliance, we're not even going to go over that because our attorney, Chris Reed, he made a video on compliance for Super Saturday, and that's being released. So maybe already was released. Right? Okay, so you guys can watch that, and it's a very good comprehensive video on compliance. And then the next thing will be sharing Plexus, and Shannon's going to talk about sharing Plexus.
Sharing Plexus or mindset?
The next thing is about being a storyteller and sharing Plexus.
Okay. To me, sharing Plexus and putting it out there is it's a big thing, because like we were talking earlier, it's not about, you don't want to be a salesperson, and that's not what it's about. Honestly, you want to be able to share Plexus and share and tell a story about you. Like, I can tell you, for instance, for me, the best way to do it is just to tell you a story. Because I could either try to sell somebody and say, hey, I took these products and they changed my life and you should try them. Is that going to convince anybody? I mean, yeah, they might have seen pictures of me and they might have seen it, how it's, changed. But instead, if I said, I started Plexus 3.5 years ago, I was overweight, I didn't exercise, I was sitting on the couch every night watching TV, wasting my time away, doing nothing. I didn't play with my kids. I didn't do anything with my husband. We didn't have sex because I was too tired. I didn't want to, or whatever. I just didn't. I mean, that's just being honest and transparent. I was ashamed and embarrassed of myself, so I didn't feel comfortable doing that. I didn't want to. And so I started taking Plexus products, and I started losing weight. I started dealing with my food issues. I started realizing that there were things I needed to take care of, and mentally I needed to take care of, and then I lost weight, and I started feeling better about myself. I started working out, and that was completely foreign. And so I started working out and enjoying working out, because when you get to the point where you feel good about yourself, you start out, you might be in the back of the room, but then when you stay consistent with it, and you kind of move up to the next line, and then maybe you're up in the middle of the workout room, but then 6 months later, you're at the front of the room in a kickboxing class, because you don't want to be in the back, because you don't want anybody to distract you from your workout. And that's how I got to where I wanted to be in the front of the room, so that there wasn't anybody in front of me distracting me from what I was there to get done. And I was there to work and get my workout in and get after it, and that's what you got to do. You got to talk about how it changed your life, and it doesn't have to be some big, long, drawn out thing. I mean, I just told you mine in like 2 minutes. That's all it's got to be. You don't have to go into detail like I did. That's okay. That's whatever you're comfortable with. That's what you can talk about. But I think for me, that was a big part of my journey. And that relates to a lot of women when they say, I felt terrible about myself. I was embarrassed about myself. I didn't play with my kids. I felt horrible because I wasn't being a good mom. All of that relates to other moms. Mm-hmm. We've all been there. We've all felt that way. And Plexus now gives me the opportunity to help and to share with these other women that there is hope. And it's not just in Christ alone, but there is something that he has sent us to use for our bodies, and you can't, people are like, well, I just can't do it. Yes, you can. And this is something he's provided for me. I truly believe that that Jana was God's vessel to bring me Plexus. because Jana and I we weren't best friends before Plexus. We didn't talk every day before Plexus. We had met maybe twice before Plexus, and that was through a mutual friend at the airport. I mean, literally, that's where I had met Jana one time at an airport, and that was it. So I know her reaching out to me was part of the business and her growing, but she really believed in her heart that it was something that I could use, because she saw me on Facebook. She saw what I was doing or not doing, the lack thereof. But I truly believe it was a godsend, and it was what God intended for me. So that was kind of a side bunny trail for you guys. But anyways, that's sharing Plexus.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was all just exactly what we learned about storytelling. Exactly. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is healthy business practices. And the first thing is that it sounds cliche, but the fortune is in the follow-up. And that is so very true. And it's very unnatural sometimes to follow up. If somebody tells you they're not interested, our tendency is to say, oh, well, then I don't want to bother that person again.
Mm-hmm.
It just might not be the right time for that person. Wendy Larson, the other diamond, she told me that she follows up 10 to 12 times with people, even if they tell her that they're not interested. And so that is huge, because it usually takes longer than 2 or 3 times or 3 or 4 times to get somebody to really be interested. It might just not be the right time. They might just be busy, and they might need to see more of your Facebook posts. They might need more exposure to Plexus before they're ready to say yes. So definitely follow up with people. I always tell people, if somebody tells you they're not interested, the next month you can message them again and say, I know you said you weren't interested, but I want to make sure that you know what we have. And I really feel like, I've been watching you on Facebook, I really feel like this could really benefit you. And so I want to give you another chance. I really want to see, maybe the time wasn't right for you, but maybe it is now. But or we have a special going on, whatever that is at that time, it's always appropriate, unless that person tells you, don't ever contact me again. They're still a prospect. If they haven't, even if they say they're not interested, they still should stay on your list. So follow up is huge. No does not mean never.
Right.
And so a big thing, and I know me and Shannon both agree on this, is selecting a running partner, somebody that is going to want to do the business too. That is huge, y'all. It does not have to be a downline. It does not have to be an upline. It could be a sideline person, but make sure that person wants to go at the same pace you want to go. And you can always contact your upline jewel to find somebody that would be really good for you to run with if you don't have anybody. But that is huge. They can help you. They can encourage you. You can comment on each other's stuff. You can have little chats going to where you hold each other accountable for your income producing activity time. But a running partner is huge. I really feel like you can't do this business by yourself, or at least 99.9% of the people cannot do this by themselves. They need that.
I agree completely.
So, we're going to talk about just creating a daily routine. We're almost done. We're to the very end. But creating a daily routine is huge. Time management is huge. Having a calendar that you're writing in every single day and you're keeping track of what you're doing. Establish daytime or daily income producing activities and what you're going to do when. And having that set out on your calendar is huge. Even if your time is split up, set that time for self-growth. Set that time for income-producing activities. But make sure you do the hard stuff first. Whatever the hardest thing for you is, do that first. Because once you get that out of the way, then you can do the things that you enjoy more. And everybody's different. If you don't enjoy reaching out to people, or if that intimidates you, do that first. If you love training people, you love encouraging people, do that after you do the stuff that you think is the hardest. Do the hardest stuff first. And then just cultivating a healthy mindset. And I'm going to let Shannon take this one, because Shannon is really good about her, not just her mindset, but her physical health. And I know that she's doing a big thing in her group about getting healthy. And I know that includes mindset too. But that's so huge to her. And I've seen this huge transformation in her just over the last 3 years anyway. But I want you to talk about the healthy mindset.
Yeah. But first, I want to tell people, Jana was just talking about setting that schedule. If you're a reader like I am, and like I told you, I'm big on self-development, and I think that's a huge part of mindset and making sure that you continue with a healthy mindset A good book for you is The Miracle Morning. If you haven't read this book, or if you want to figure out how to set your mornings up for success and really set the tone for your day and set the tone for your week, it's a really great book to start off with. It's called The Miracle Morning, and it's by Hal Elrod and Pat Petrini. Again, The Miracle Morning. Get you some. Be good for you. Anyways, let's talk about mindset. When like I said, I went to convention, and that was where everything really transformed for me. I came back, and Jana and I, that whole summer, it was a big change for both of us, that particular summer. And we really had to, for me, I had to change my complete focus, because I knew that I could make one of two choices. I could either really set my mind to this and do it, or I could falter back and just say, you know what, I'm not cut out for this. But at convention, I decided that I was going to do it, and I was going to come back, and I was going to work it. And that particular year, I had one person on my team go, and that was Sarah Bowen Lewis. A lot of you probably know her. And we were there together, and we dreamed, we were excited, we had fun, we set visions and goals, and we dreamed, and then we talked about it all summer. And, did that mean that my summer went great and that we exploded in the summer? No, it didn't mean that at all. But we did cast a vision, like we've talked about on this call, and we set our minds to it. And what you're doing now in your daily work is going to affect your business 90 days from now. What we started in June, my business took a huge growth and leap starting in September of that year. And it was 90 days from the time that we left convention. And because I came home and I put my mind to it, and when I say I put my mind to it, now I'm not saying that everybody has to do this. This is just how I chose to run my business, because I was determined to grow in the business, and I wanted to rank up. I wanted to be a jewel. I wanted it so bad I could taste it. And then when they went to Hawaii that September and I didn't get to go, let me tell you, that just set me on fire, because I was like, not again. They will not go to Hawaii without me again. And not again. And I did it. I hit Emerald the next year. But you have to be committed to that. You have to be every day committed to growing yourself personally. How do I grow as a leader? I mean, you can't expect to have a team of 100 people if you're not doing anything to prepare for that. Are you even ready to lead 100 people? Or could you do it? If, say, you had 100 people join your team next week, are you mentally prepared to do that? I mean, yeah, it could happen, and you would do it, but could you do it well? That's what you want to do. You want to work towards and be prepared for what's going to come, because that's how I always see it, is like, man, I want to be prepared for whatever comes my way. I'm going to be prepared to teach and to coach and to train and see things ahead of time. And so you have to be that way. And so I threw myself into books. I threw myself into YouTube videos. I followed diamonds, every diamond I could find. I went to their page and I followed them. I didn't friend them. I just followed them, because then you still get to see their posts. And so I followed them. I watched YouTube videos. I was on every stinking training call that I could get on, because I wanted to learn it. And I know not everybody can do that because of work schedules, kids, games. I get it. But whatever you can get on it. Don't make excuses, because anytime you're not doing it, your mind's thinking about something else. And so that's how I felt, that I had to continually feed my brain plexus all the time. So it was eat, sleep, drink, bleed plexus for a year. I mean, I gave up time with my kids. I gave up time with my spouse. I gave up going on vacations. I gave up watching TV. I gave up Candy Crush. I mean, that's a lot, people. I mean, when your sponsor, Janice, my sponsor, she's like, what are you doing tonight? And I was like, oh, I'm just reading a book. And she's like, what book are you reading? Remember I was reading, I don't even remember what book it was now.
It was a Christian romance.
Yeah, it was like a Christian romance novel.
It was a series. I'm like, you're killing me.
So anyways, I took my love of reading and then switched it over to self-development, because now I'm not saying that everybody has to do that with their business, but that was me. That was what I wanted to do, because I felt like if I was going to get to one of the top 3 positions in the company, I had to work at it, and it wasn't going to come to me and just fall in my lap. And so I told myself every day, I'm going to be a Jewel. What I'm doing right now, I know that I'm not getting to spend this time with my kids, or I didn't get to go on this weekend away with my husband. But now when I look back at it, I have time to do everything with my kids right now. My husband and I are able to go on weekend trips and afford it. Like, he was sitting in my office just last week and he said, hey, I think we need to go on a cruise. Can we go on one next month? Now, 2 years ago, number one, we didn't have the time freedom to do that because he could not have missed work to go do that, because he just couldn't. And number two, we wouldn't have had the money to just say, hey, let's go on a cruise next week. Who does that? People who work hard, and people, then you become jewels, you make that jewel money. Because jewel money is not a joke, y'all. It's not. You work hard and you get there, it's worth it. It's worth it. And you got to work hard for a year to get there, it's worth it. It's worth that sacrifice to get there. So, sorry, I'm just going on a long tangent here.
You have to set that mindset every single day, and you have to make it a priority every single day. Anything you do that becomes a habit, important, it has to become a priority. You think about the things that you do every single day. For instance, brushing your teeth. That's not an option. You're going to brush your teeth every single day. That's how you need to make your Plexus business. If you have a relationship with God, it has to be every single day. Otherwise, it's not going to grow. If you're working out, it has to be a priority. It has to come before the other stuff. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. It has to be a priority. That is, if you made that your number one change, you make huge differences in your business. But thinking really does matter. How you think affects what you do. And so I'm going to leave you with 2 quotes, and then we're going to go over the incentives real quick so we can make sure we get that in. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And that's Henry Ford. We had that in our Super Saturday, and that is so true. And then the other one is, belief doesn't come from success. Success comes from belief. And that's all mindset things. You have to set your mind on positivity and like what Shannon said, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth the sacrifice now to get to where I'm going to be. And exactly what you said about self-growth is so huge, because Eric Worre says all the time, even if you accidentally sponsored somebody and they became a diamond, whatever, and they brought you to whatever Ruby, you have to grow into that position. You have to grow into your paycheck or you'll lose it. Whatever your level of income is, even if you didn't purposely get there, if you don't grow into that position, you'll lose it. And it's so true. We have found that to be true. We have to grow into what we are. We have to get to be a better leader. And by doing all the things that she just said is so true. So,
and I just want to point out, in the last year, maybe your business struggled a little bit, or maybe your points went down. My points went down, but that didn't mean I stopped working. That doesn't mean I quit and I get all, oh my God. No, you get up and you're like, you know what? It's not going down anymore, because I'm going to go find some people. I'm going to go sign some people up and get them to take off. You don't get to sit back. If you want it, you want to get to the top, you don't ever get to sit back and whine. You don't get to sit back and take a break. You got to work for it. And I'm an advocate for working for it and earning it. And
because activity cures discouragement.
Yeah.
That's it's going to cure discouragement is activity.
ABC. Always be connecting. Always. Yeah. Always be connecting.
That's what I talked about Super Saturday, is that connecting people and connecting people with Plexus people is so huge for my business. That is probably the number one thing that I'm good at, is connecting people. Okay, so Shannon already talked about convention. Convention is huge. You guys, please get yourself to convention. Just like she said, it is so huge for you. And not only for you, but for your people on your team. If you're silver, get all 3 of those people to go to convention, because it will sell out. Yeah. It will sell out. We didn't know this last year, and it sold out, and we were shocked. But this year, I'm not going to be shocked. I'm going to be shocked if it doesn't sell out quickly.
Right.
Like, if you have to wait till the 15th, I think we get paid tomorrow. I think tomorrow's payday.
We got paid already.
Yeah, but it's going to be in our bank accounts tomorrow.
Mine's already there.
Oh, is it? Okay, some people's probably there, but tomorrow, you guys don't wait. As soon as that money, if you're waiting for that, as soon as that money hits, go register because this is huge. Okay. The other thing is our incentive that we have that I'm so excited about for January, and that's the smartwatch. That's amazing. You guys, it has Plexus on it. Why would you not want this? It's probably, I heard it's between a $300 and $500 value.
Wow.
And it's a Garmin smartwatch. All you have to do is get 3 new customers of $50 PV or more and 3 new personally sponsored ambassadors with welcome packs and $500 total in PV, and you will earn this watch. Totally doable. We had this a couple years ago. We did the iPad thing, and I mean, they sent out thousands of iPads. So thousands of people will be winning this watch. You need to be one of them. So whatever you can, you still have a lot of month left to do this. The other thing is the Trim Up, the group that they're doing for people to lose weight. You need to go set your order as unconditional for $125 or more, and it needs to include the weight loss management or the weight management products. It can include the triplex, it can include block, accelerator, whatever of those that you can. You can't do the triplex separately. It has to be the triplex together. If you're going to use the ProBio and the BioCleanse, it has to be the combo of the triplex plus one other product. That has to be the minimal. Okay, you go set your order as unconditionals. Let's say you haven't ordered yet for this month. Go set your order for unconditional for tomorrow. Order, say, the triplex and the block. After you order that and your products come in, you take a before picture with those products in the picture and you email it in to the email that they sent out, and then they will add you to the Facebook group. Okay, there's lots of great prizes, but the best thing is they're going to be giving really great advice, tips, and recipes and all kinds of coaching stuff. So make sure you are in that group. And then the opportunity tour that's coming, they're announcing all that, and we'll be posting that in our groups at the different locations that the Diamonds and different CEOs are going to be at the different opportunities. Get your people to those opportunity meetings. This is what I said in Canada. I don't care if you have been to 100 opportunity meetings. You still go. Ideally, you're bringing your friends with you, because if one of your friends comes and hears the story of these people, they're most likely going to join. But even if you don't have anybody to go and there's an opportunity meeting close enough for you to go to, whether it's done by Plexus or a different diamond ambassador or Jewel, go to it. I go to anything I can. I go to, even still, because I learn something or a different way to say it at every single one I go to. You get motivated. You hear testimonies and you hear stories, and you just realize how great and amazing our company is, and it just really motivates you. And that's what you need to do, is just get motivated.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything else to add?
No, it's good stuff.
Okay. We have a few questions. So, should I go ahead and stop the recording? Or
okay. Whatever you want to do.
Okay. I mean, if they want to listen to the questions, they can. So I'll just get going.
Yeah.
Okay. We got 2 questions in the question and answer. The first one is how to convince friends that would prefer to just go to the drugstore or try something later. Do you want to take that, or you want me to?
Go ahead. I'll do the next one.
Okay. So first of all, if you don't have to really convince anybody. You know, we have a great product. You should be a walking testimony for that product. And first of all, if they're your real friend, they should want to support you and not the drugstore. So I would just ask them, if they're saying they're going to go to the drugstore for their probiotics, I would say, first of all, our probiotic is better. And second of all, I'm your friend and you should support me instead of going to the drugstore. Okay, so just ask people for their support. I was telling my mom the other day, you know, it's a shame. Every single ambassador that signs up, there is no reason they shouldn't have every single friend and family member buying their vitamins, at least their vitamins from you. Almost everybody takes vitamins. I would be telling I do tell my family that. You need to buy your vitamins from me, not Walmart.
Right.
Because I sell vitamins and they're great. And so you need to buy your vitamins from me. You should have plenty of PV just from vitamins on your family. Go tell them. If I opened up a restaurant, when you come eat there, well, I'm opened up a business and I want you to come take my products. Ask for that support. Don't be afraid to ask for that support, even if it's just that they love you and they want to support you.
Right.
And don't be offended when people say no, because we have a great product. Just let them keep seeing you. Eventually, they'll want to do what you're doing because they're going to see how great you feel.
And, you know, and somebody, I heard this once, Sheila Medina said this once, and people are like, you know, the only reason I got to Jewel and maybe I got there before you or whatever is because I've gotten more no's than you. I mean, and that's really the truth of it. You know, you work through so many no's. If you want to get to Jewel, you just got to work through the no's. I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many no's I've gotten. I mean, thousands. But that's okay. That doesn't mean I quit. That doesn't mean I don't ever share it with them again, because eventually, I mean, I still get new customers from people who have known me since the day I started, almost 4 years ago. And they're just now becoming customers because they see, oh, she really is going to stick with this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
So true. Okay, what's the next question?
The next one is follow up with good news, such as the 60-day Get Fit Challenge or new product info. Absolutely, you should follow up with good news. Anytime that you have somebody that you have spoken to about the products, or they've asked for information before, I always, anytime there's a new incentive, anytime there's like this Get Fit Challenge, I will send it to them and say, hey, I don't know if you saw this on my Facebook, but I just want to reach out to you, let you know that this is going on. And sometimes I will even offer them a special from myself. Now, I can't post that on my wall, but I can send it to them in a message and say, hey, you know, I've got this little thing going on, and if you want to do it, this is what I'm offering, yeah. You know, just to sweeten the deal. That's just what I do. But yeah, always be responding and following up with people. Like Jana said earlier, Wendy Larson follows up 10, 11 times. And, you know, what's the statistic that 80% of people don't even say yes until like the 7th time that you follow up with somebody? I mean, it's a proven statistic. So yeah. You want to take the next one?
Well, I'm just going here through the chat. They want to know what the name, they want to know who wrote the Miracle Morning.
Hal Elrod, E-L-R-O-D.
Okay, and, any other books on self-confidence and motivation? What to Say When You Talk to Yourself is a great one. How to Win Friends and Influence People is a great one. The Sarah Robbins How to Rock Your Network Marketing Business is a great one. Go Pro is a great one. There's a lot of them out there, and there's probably lists. I'm sure I know there's lists on the Rockin' group too, and probably you can search that on the Rockin'.
And you can even go to Amazon and type in network marketing, self-development, and it'll pull up hundreds.
Well, and just even in the back office with the Success on Demand.
Yeah.
I mean, you can find tons of stuff back there. And then let's see. Yes, Kelly, it is for preferred customers on the watch. It's 3 preferred customers. And let's see. Is the opportunity tour for only ambassadors? No, the opportunity tour is for opportunity to present the opportunity to guests.
Anybody can come.
Yeah, and you want them to come. That's what it's for. You want to bring guests to that. But what I was saying is, even if you don't have a guest to bring, go anyway. Go take your team members, take your ambassadors. They will learn so much from that, just going to that.
Right.
And it's free. Yes, it's free. You can invite everyone. It's open to the public. And there will be lists of those that you guys can see to see where the closest ones are. They haven't even put out the whole list yet, but just the first ones that they're doing.
Right.
Okay, let's see.
The next one on the other Q&A, it says, what do you say to someone who sees your message you send to them but they don't respond? Do you keep messaging them? If so, what are you saying? For me, if I have a hard sell, if I'm messaging them and they don't respond, I stop sending messages and I send a voice message. Because just out of sheer curiosity, they want to know what you're going to say. So they will open it up and listen to you. And I actually prefer, instead of typing out messages, I actually prefer to leave a voice message via Facebook, because they're able to hear me and to hear my voice, and they're able to hear that I am sincere about it. And then when I message you and say, look, I really feel like this could help you with what you're going through right now, because that comes over a lot different when they can hear my voice than me just typing it out. Don't be afraid to use that power of emotion with people. Because when I message people, I message them because I truly feel like what I have is going to change their life. And if they can hear that in my voice and I say, look, and if it's my friends, I'm like, look, you need this. Whether you think you need it or not, you need this. And you need to order it because it has a 60-day money-back guarantee and it's good for you. And if you don't like it, if it doesn't work for you, you can send it back and you're not going to get in trouble. And I'm still going to love you regardless. Now, I don't send that to everybody, that kind of message. I send that to people that I'm friends with, that I have built connections and friendships with for many years. My family. Actually, my family gets a message like, you need to get your credit card out and go order those vitamins because you need it. Because I'm tired of seeing you talk about what you're doing on Facebook, how tired you are. So stop complaining and go order those dang vitamins. That's the kind of message I send my family.
That's right. And you know, because you're watching them on Facebook, you're watching your prospects and you're building that relationship with them. And you know, I don't know, a lot of people don't know, but you can make a list on Facebook of people that you're watching like that. And you can, on your computer, not on your phone, but on your computer, on the left-hand side, you can create a list of people and you can click on that and all you will see is their status updates. And that's huge. That everyone that's on your Franks list should be in that list. And that way you can watch them on Facebook and everyone else isn't cluttering up your page. When you're doing your income producing activities, go to that list and just work on those people, build those relationships. But that's so true on the voice messages. I was listening to a call. I don't know if you heard the one Celeste did where she answered 17 questions with Emma Roberts. And she said, she asked her, she's like, how in the world did you get to Emerald in 4 months? How did you do that? She said, I voice messaged the heck out of people. She said, I got on Facebook and everyone that I had a relationship with, I voice messaged them how great this opportunity was. And they couldn't help but hear my passion and my belief. And so that is so true. That, I mean, if she can go to Emerald like that, that's how she found her people, because she was passionate about what she was doing and she voice messaged them. And you're right, they can't help but listen to that message and they feel rude not responding. For some reason, people don't respond to text, but they'll respond to a voice message quicker.
It's something we've triggered in our brains through social media that we've been taught to just glaze over. When we're reading through, scrolling through Facebook, whatever, we've been taught to glaze over. But when you send a voice message, it triggers a whole different mechanism in the brain because you actually have to click something and listen. You're not just, it's something else in the brain that goes off. I'm sure somebody scientific could come in here and tell us whatever that is, but it's a different emotion, a different part of the brain that clicks and says, oh, and hearing someone, their heart in it is way different than just sending a message to somebody written out. But when they can hear you and hear your passion about it, it's a whole different animal.
Right. On the question on, I can tell you Shannon's answer. No, I wouldn't repeatedly give somebody samples over and over.
No.
Months apart. No,
absolutely not.
Do that. I would at that point tell them, you know, there's a 60-day money back guarantee, and you can buy it, and then if you don't like it, you can call them up and tell them you don't.
Yeah.
So
I never tell anybody they can't comment on something or do something, but I make sure they don't win it, if that makes sense.
Oh, on the little things that you.
But usually what I do is but that's my brain. But what I usually do is if somebody comments again that I've already sent the samples to, I will send them a voice message and say, hey, I noticed that you commented on my post about getting more samples. So I just wanted to send you my website link because you've already won some before, or I've already sent you some before. So I'm going to send you my website link. You can get a 3-day trial pack, or you can get a 7-day, or you can just go ahead and get this 30-day. And I just send them a voicemail and let them know, hey, here's my link. I'm going to send it to you in a message here in just a minute, and send it to them. And then they get the hint. Hey, listen, freeloader, I'm not giving you all my samples. Those cost me money. And I'm not in this to lose money. I'm in this to make money.
Okay. So they're asking about the link that you can list your Franks list. It's just it's like your groups on the side, on the left-hand side of your Facebook page, where you can put your favorite groups. You can create lists of your friends that you can click on that, and that's all you'll see. It's just a list. It's called a friends list, and you'll find that on the side. Let's see. Okay, I think that's all the questions in the chat. The thoughts on having a separate Facebook page. You know, when we first started, we did customer groups. I still think customer groups have a place, but I think of them a lot differently now. I really feel like that everyone needs a customer group, but I think that they need to strategically put people in there that are their customers or their ambassadors. And that's just my personal view. There's a lot of people that think differently about that, but I feel like there needs to be a place if you're really going to create a team, or if you have a team, your team needs to have a place to go learn about the products. They need to have a place to go find stuff that they can duplicate. You don't want to have them looking all over everywhere. If you have a customer group and you're posting really compliant, great stuff in there, then they have a good place to duplicate from. And you can educate your customers or your prospects a lot better from that page, and a lot more than you can from your regular wall without looking salesy, because they know that's your store. That's where you're going to be posting stuff like that. So they're okay with that. I like the customer group. I just think they need to be done differently now. We don't dump tons of people in there now. And only because other companies started doing it and it got really annoying. It really worked for us, but because other companies are doing it now, I don't train that way anymore. But I still think somebody needs a customer group. I just think they need to really, really, really stress that not to hide behind that customer group. That especially if you're not putting everybody in there, because you have such a small audience, do not post in that customer group to get new customers. That is solely to educate and motivate. What you're doing when you're posting and looking for customers needs to be on your regular wall. So if you keep that in mind, then yes, by all means, open up a customer group, but keep the fights on getting new people on your regular wall.
And if you say you don't have a customer group, then if you're a leader, if you're a silver ambassador, if you're a gold ambassador, senior gold ambassador, if you don't have a customer group, then what you're posting on your wall, your team is going to see. So they're going to duplicate whatever you do. If you're not posting and talking about Plexus on your wall, they're not going to either. So you better take that responsibility. What I was talking about earlier about mastery and autonomy in the business, and if you want to have a big team, then you got to be prepared to lead that team. So if you're not posting on Facebook, they're not going to post on Facebook, because they're going to be master duplicators. I mean, people tell me all the time, they're like, oh, I love your posts, or I love this, I love that. I'm like, girl, I'm just a master duplicator. And I am. When I see someone and they're doing it great, I figure out how they're doing it. I will study them. I will follow their Facebook posts. I will if somebody's good at recruiting, then I will follow their recruiting and see how they recruit. If they're good at sales, I will follow them just to simply figure out how they do sales and why they're good at it. Because that's just part of being good at what you do and becoming a master of this, is learning that skill set and how to do it. So if you're not going to have a group, you better make sure you're posting consistently on your own wall. Otherwise, you won't get customers and you won't get ambassadors. It's just that simple. So unless you're very outside and involved in the public, then you will.
Whether you have a customer group or not, you should be posting on your regular wall.
Yes.
And that is so true. And you know what? All that you just said is strategic. That's strategy. And everything that we do is strategic.
Right.
We're growing strategically, and by studying people and by finding out, when you go and you see Alyssa Bauer post today that she has $1,400 in PV, everyone should be following her.
Right. Exactly. And seeing why.
And we need to have her on a call.
Yes.
Because that's awesome.
Right.
So strategically following people, strategically finding out what other people are doing. I love that. So true. Okay, I think that's it. I'm going to stop recording.